Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chris. Today I'm talking about two offerings from Dua Fragrances, An Evening with the Mobster and 44 Shades of Vanilla. Stay tuned to FM. Dua Fragrances are a perfume house based in the United States, and they do two things. They have their own blends and they have what they call inspired expressions, which you could say are clones or dupes of more expensive fragrances. Today I'm looking at two of those inspired expressions, An Evening with the Mobster and 44 Shades of Vanilla. So let's start off by taking a closer look at the presentation. They come in 30ml sizes, pretty much just a stock bottle, although the new cap does add a nice extra element to the presentation. We have the name of the fragrance on the front and on the side, nothing on the back. Sprayer, pretty good. On this one, I have a little problem on this bottle. So again, nice label, but unfortunately on this bottle I have a sticky sprayer. So I get one and then it sticks. So I'm not sure how often this happens. I could have just been unlucky and got a faulty bottle. A little bit unfortunate. I don't have another sprayer that will fit this bottle, so I'm just going to have to persevere with it. The bottles don't come presented in a box, they just come as the bottle. But overall, fairly nice presentation. So let's start off with Dua's An Evening with the Mobster. So this is one of their inspired expressions based on Roja Parfum's Enigma. This was out of stock for ages on their website. I was really eagerly anticipating trying this one. Finally it came back into stock, so I got myself a bottle. So Enigma is one of my favourite fragrances. I love the tobacco, I love the cognac, a really lovely boozy note in there. There's some vanilla to sweeten things up. So it's a really complex, really well balanced, smooth, sophisticated, classy fragrance. I have talked about it before. If you haven't seen the video on that one, click the link up there. So how does An Evening with the Mobster compare to Enigma? It does a pretty good job. It's not quite there. It's not 100%, although is any clone or dupe 100% of the original, but it does a really good job. The differences for me are in the things I love most about Enigma. I love how smooth and complex and well blended it is. I love that gorgeous boozy cognac note in the opening, and I like the hint of tobacco. The tobacco isn't overpowering, it's quite a subtle note in Enigma, and it's all beautifully sweetened up by the presence of vanilla in there as well. So An Evening with the Mobster, it has the same vibe. It definitely could be mistaken for Enigma. The opening for this one isn't quite as smooth and well blended. I find the opening of Enigma, I just want to smell it all day. It draws me in and it's so smooth and classy. So the opening of An Evening with the Mobster, it's not quite as impressive for me. It's nearly there, but it doesn't quite have that rich complexity and that punchy, boozy note that just shouts out as soon as you spray Enigma. All the notes are there in this one. It just seems a little more linear, not quite as complex as Enigma. So you get the cognac, you get the hint of tobacco, you get that classic, almost Coca-Cola scent that is associated with Enigma, but it just doesn't quite have that smooth sophistication. That's in the opening, so that's for about maybe the first half an hour. The projection of these two fragrances side by side was fairly similar. In fact, I did get a compliment going into work wearing this one. In the dry down, this one pretty much stayed the same. All the notes were there, but all the notes that were present in the opening remained in the dry down, but were just projecting a little bit less. In Enigma, I found that the notes on the dry down just developed on the skin a little bit more. More of that sweetness of the vanilla came through and really nicely balanced out the tobacco with the cognac. As a side-by-side comparison, Enigma is a better fragrance, but what you've also got to factor in is the cost. So the cost of Enigma for 50ml is £245. That's the best price in the UK that I could find. The price of An Evening with the Mobster was $55. So all in all, the two fragrances that I purchased from Dua, plus $15 shipping, plus £12 import that I had to go to the post office to pay. I'm not sure whether that's what usually happens, but I had to do that. So all in all, I paid about £95. An evening with the Mobster is a lot cheaper than Roja Enigma. It's doing a really similar job. If you went out wearing an evening with the Mobster and told people who were familiar with the scent of Enigma that it was indeed Enigma, then they would probably believe you. But testing side by side and getting nose to skin, I could tell the differences. Does that really matter? Maybe not. Are most people going to know that you're wearing a clone of Enigma? Do you care if people realise whether you're wearing a clone of Enigma? I think that's what it boils down to. If you want to go out and you're wearing this fragrance to add to a certain situation, perhaps a formal occasion where you're dressed up smartly and you want to project class and sophistication, if you're wanting to project that, are you going to be able to do that in the same way wearing a fragrance that you know is a clone of a more expensive fragrance? Or if you had that bottle, if you owned a full bottle of Roja Enigma and you wore that fragrance for your occasion, would you feel better? Would you feel classier and more sophisticated just knowing that you were wearing that expensive fragrance? For some people, I believe that really does make a difference. For other people, I don't think it does. If people just want to wear the scent and they don't mind about knowing that they're not wearing the more expensive scent, then that's fine. I think an evening with a Mobster works perfectly well. And the cost of this means that you could wear it as a day scent. It's much cheaper, so you don't have to be as limiting with the occasions that you might wear this one for. So overall, an evening with a Mobster is a great attempt at smelling like Enigma, but as it says on their website, it's an inspired expression. At no point in reading Dua's website does it say that it is supposed to be an identical fragrance. It's not trying to masquerade as an identical clone. It is merely an inspired expression, and in that, it does the job really well. So the next fragrance is 44 Shades of Vanilla, and this one is an inspired expression of Labo's Vanille 44. The original is a fantastic fragrance. It's a creamy, sweet vanilla. There's some spices in there. There's a hint of mandarin and some woodsiness. There's some gaiac wood. So the Labo's fragrance is a beautiful scent. How close does this one come? Very close in my opinion. For me, this one is closer to Vanille 44 than an evening with the Mobster was to Roja's Enigma. The other good thing about this one is it seemed to last really well. The projection was great. The longevity on this was fantastic. And in terms of longevity, this one did outperform the original. And again, a fraction of the cost. So if you're a fan of Vanille 44 and you're looking for a cheaper fragrance, then I think 44 Shades of Vanilla is a fantastic inspired expression. So highly recommended. In terms of a percentage, I know people like to know percentages. I could never give a fragrance 100%, and this does last a little bit longer, so it wouldn't be 100% anyway. I'd say this is probably about 98%, 99% accurate as a clone of the original. If you forget about the inspired expression, they're lovely fragrances. They're both very wearable, they're both crowd pleasing, and you will feel great wearing these. And they don't cost that much either. Some people aren't sure about companies that produce scents that imitate or clone or are inspired by other scents, and they wear their badge on the sleeve. They don't try to shy away from that, but they also have their own blends as well. They're being honest about what they do. There is a market for people who can't afford these highly expensive fragrances and want to have a fragrance that imitates that closely or is very similar to that. Why not have a company that can provide people with the opportunity to wear these amazing fragrances rather than closing people out because they can't afford them? So I don't mind companies like Dua Fragrances. It certainly allows me to own 38 millilitres of a fragrance that smells very close to Roja's Enigma. I won't be buying a full bottle of Enigma anytime soon. I've had decants, which is what I used to compare these two fragrances to. If you just wanted to have a scent that was very close to the original, then a company that I use a lot here in the UK is called Perfume Parlour. I have to say that their version of Enigma didn't impress me that much. It was a nice fragrance on its own, but it wasn't that close to Enigma. This is much closer. I'd probably say this is about 90% closeness. So if you are wanting a fragrance that smells similar to Roja Enigma, then I would probably go for this one over the Perfume Parlour version. As I say, Perfume Parlour is a nice scent, but this is closer if you're wanting something that matches Enigma. The only other issue if you reside in the UK is the shipping costs. It would be nice if Duo had a UK store that you could buy these from. I know that another similar company that does a similar thing with having their own blends and inspired expressions, it is Alexandria Fragrances. They've been in touch with me and they've sent me some of their scents, which I'll be reviewing in a future video. And they have informed me that they will be opening a UK store at some point, which is great news because I paid probably close to an extra £25 for the shipping from the States and for the import duty that I had to pay on them. So it'd be great if Duo did get going in the UK. So I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Duo fragrances. I'm hoping to try more from the house in the future. Some more inspired expressions. Singularity is one that I'm really interested in, and also some of their original blends as well. I'd be really interested to try those and talk to you about how I feel about their own blends as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell so you get all the notifications every time I upload. Until next time, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.